Hello. I think this is my last episode and I'm going to batch for today. So this question for this episode, the question is two questions because I felt like they were related. At least my answer is the same for both of them, kinda. The first question was, what was the hardest lesson you had to learn in business? And what do you wish someone had told you when you were where I am? And so based on the people who asked me this question, they're like closer to the beginning of the business. So I'm going to answer from that perspective. And for both of them, it comes down to this. I wish I would have known, and the hardest lesson that I had to learn was that you don't have to be a good person to make a lot of money. Like being a good person is not a requirement for business success. Being a good person, like good things don't come to good just because you're a good person. Meaning like success in terms of money, social media following, clients doesn't come just because you're a good person. Because what I would say all the time to my coaches, but I don't understand. I'm such a good person. Another thing, I guess another flavor of this is just because you're smart, just because you are quote unquote the best at it, doesn't mean you're going to make the most money. Just because you have the degrees or you have the years of experience, that might get you ahead in the world of corporate, but in business, nobody cares. It is about who could tell the best story, who can sell the best story about the transformation that's going to happen when you solve XYZ problem. Whoever can do that the best will make the most money in business. Argue with your mama. Because it took me so long to understand that, because I used to be so frustrated that I would see all these people who I'm like, I'm better than them. I know I'm better than them, objectively, subjectively, whatever. I'm better than them. And yet, they have more followers and more clients and more money. And the things that used to burn my grits, okay, is that these people had a shit program. Like they did not actually help anybody solve the problem. They were just good at marketing. And so they would have all of these clients who were not happy about what they were getting from them, but it didn't matter because they were doing such a good job of reaching new audiences and new people that the new people were drowning out the old people who were disgruntled and dissatisfied. And it used to break my brain. Like, I'm sorry. Like, how does this keep happening? Is there not anybody here who's regulating this? No, especially in this like coaching world and this social media world, because it's so quote unquote new and in the large scheme of things of business. It took a while for people to catch up. Now people are catching up. Okay, rules are coming into play about online businesses and whatnot. But back like early 2000 to 2010, like no, nobody knew. They didn't even think this was real to even have a business on the internet. And even still, there's still a big portion of the world who don't even think this is real. It's hard to argue with it now, but I just want you to go back to like 2013, 2014. Like, no. But it used to break my brain that I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, you are awful. You are an awful human. And it doesn't matter because you go on the internet and you pretend to be this person. Some of the most heartbreaking moments I've had in business is meeting the people I looked up to. You know that like that saying where they say you should not meet what's the saying? Like you, like I'm asking you, what's the saying? Like you shouldn't meet your idols or your whatever, like the people you look up to, because they're people. They're gonna disappoint you. But as I started to look up to the people who I'm like, oh, they're so successful and they're such a good person because their brand does this and they do this. And as I started to get into these rooms and have real conversations and peek behind the curtain, I'm like, oh no, take me back. Take me back to when I didn't know. Now I know. And I'm going to tell y'all that a lot of people are performing. They're playing a character. Let's go back to the Drake and Kendrick beef. One of Kendrick's biggest problems with Drake is that he's cosplaying a rapper. He like has a different accent every 6 months. He looks the part. He has ghostwriters who help him sound a part. But when it comes down to it, B for B, like put up like talent and skill and whatnot together, he falls short. The last Heartbeat 6, Heart 6, what did he name his? Heart 6? Drake. It sounded awful because you could tell all the writers were not in the room when he wrote that. When he said when he ain't even on it no more, he done, he don't quit, he just done with this, he don't want to waste his time or whatever. Like, it was awful because it's not who he is. He's playing a part. Most people are playing a part. When you go to talk to them in their regular life and you want them to be who they are on the internet, they're not. They're liars. Those are people you look up to and they're like, oh, they got this. Liars. Of course, hashtag not all, but most of them. One of the biggest compliments I get is like, you are the same as you are online. And I'm always like, what? Yes. Or people are like, you're the same but how you show up on the calls. I'm like, again, yep, I'm just showing up as me. Y'all, one of the things that I tell clients and in the Simple Business Institute is about, we're going to build a business that is around you, not something that you have to conform to, but a business that naturally fits who you are. Because there will become a time where you will not want to do this anymore. There will come a time where it will get hard, that it will start to feel like a job. And if you have to perform a certain way, it's going to make it all the harder to show up. So on those days where it's tough, you can trust that, like, I mean, I could just do this real quick because it's just me. I'm just talking. But a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people are in golden handcuffs because they built this persona online and they change. They don't want to do it anymore. And these people keep asking them to be that. And they're like, I don't want to be that. I think about, what was her name? Rachel Hollis. That's what happened. If you don't know who Rachel Hollis is, you can go down a rabbit hole, friend, because it was a fascinating pandemic moment for me. But she had created this role of, I'm this ultimate coach, the female Tony Robbins. I'm gonna be the best motivational speaker ever. And in like 2 or 3 posts, just ruined her reputation. And it's not because she got quote unquote canceled. It's because she forgot the role she was playing. She forgot who she told her audience she was. She said, I'm just a mama, just doing the best that I can, being scrappy, working on my business, believing in myself, using what I have available to me. I'm making it. I'm just like you. And then fast forward to these moments where she is like, what makes you think I want to be relatable? Y'all, please go down this rabbit hole. It's like, what makes you think I want to be relatable? She was talking about, she had a cleaner come to her home and it was a whole thing, but she no longer wanted to be relatable. But that to me was a perfect example of someone who had built up this persona and they were so tired of playing a part that they sabotaged their way. Like, I believe there was a part of her that no longer wanted to play that role. Okay, let me try to think of a different example. I mean, it's hard coming to me right now, but like, so many people do this where they want to play a role, but and it gives them success, but then after a while, they don't want it. I believe that happened with Drake because I don't know why he kept going down the path to get to where he is. Anyway, how did I get here? I say all that to say, don't look at people. Don't even look at me and being like, oh, I need to act like that, or I need to look like that, or I need to dress like that. And if I want to be successful, while success leaves clues, that's true. You don't have to be someone you're not. You may have to learn some skills. Okay, you may have to learn, how to like talk yourself and hype yourself up when you're too scared or too tired to do a thing. But you don't have to change who you fundamentally are to be successful in business, especially in this world where we are more connected than ever through social media. You can go find your people. You don't got to perform to do anything that way. Most of you, the type of business you want or the type of life you want to live, because most people, when I talk to you, you're like, if I could just make about 100 or 200,000 a year, life would be good. That doesn't require you to have this huge level of following and success. For most of you, that requires on average 10 to 30 people to say, yes, I want to work with you a year. You hear the number I said, 10 to 30 people. So your job then becomes, how many people do I need to get my content in front of? How many conversations, how many people do I need to have a conversation with in order to get 10 to 30 people to say yes to working with me? That's what your job is. Most of you are going to find maybe it's 100, maybe it's 200 people over a course of a year. So you need to go talk to 10 to 15 people a month. Let me sit that in your soul for a minute. Most of you just need to have a conversation with about 10 to 15 people a month. That's like 2 to 3 people a week to say, hey, I do this thing. Do you need help with this thing? Would you like to work with me? 10 to 15 people a month to have the life. Most of you have to talk to 10 to 15 people a day at your job. Meanwhile, you over here telling yourself the story that you don't have what it takes to make it in an online business. Make it make sense. You got to bend over backwards, do a little dance, give a blood sample, promise your firstborn at your corporate job, when you could just go talk to 10 to 15 people over a month to say, hey, I'm a career coach. I help you get your promotion, your next promotion in the next 90 days or less. You want to know more? That's all you have to do. And you don't have to verbally talk to people face to face anymore. You can roll up in the DMs. You can say that on your social media content, and you would be able to have the money you want to live the life you want to live. But because you keep comparing yourself to people who are lying, number one, but two, who have way different goals, different lifestyle choices they want, because you're comparing yourself to them, you're missing out on your blessing. You're missing out on the life that you could be having right now. So if you want some more help with that, then you definitely need to come into Simple Business Institute. And if you have a question, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer. Having so much fun doing this. And I'm going to talk to you later.